and gentlemen, representing
Orlando.
a creature so fearsome, so terrible, so mind-bendingly large. Quake with fear, you mortal fools! Bow down before the awesome might of... This huge guy who's carrying the real contestant.
Fun Spot America.
Welcome back to Park Pals, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic day.
So, Orlando. Let's just talk about Orlando for just a second.
While there are places like Cedar Point and Six Flags Magic Mountain that are known as the thrill or the coaster capitals of the world, I don't think there can be any doubt that Orlando should be known as the theme park capital of the world.
Just think about it for a second, addressing the elephant, or should I say the mouse, in the room. You got Disney with their 4 big parks, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom.
And then you got the second big gun of Orlando. You know we love them, Universal Studios. They've got Universal Studios Orlando, they've got Islands of Adventure, and Epic Universe along the way.
And as you know, enough is never enough. You got SeaWorld just down the street from Universal.
And that's not even including the water parks. If we want to go there, we've got Aquatica, owned by SeaWorld, Discovery Cove, also SeaWorld. Not really a water park, but more of like a nature
There's water
exploration.
at the park.
You get to swim at the park.
You got Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach at Disney.
And then, of course, there's Universal's Volcano Bay. So, looking at this, there are well over 10 quality theme parks in Orlando owned by huge, big companies.
The big boys.
The big boys. And they're all operating in this one city, which is just crazy, but awesome. And seeing all this, it may seem like you have to be a big player in order to have a theme park in Orlando.
But that's where you're wrong, mister.
You see, on a recent trip to Orlando, I got to attend a theme park that I had never been to before.
And of course, you smart people who have read the title, you already know what it is. It is Fun Spot America. First of all, just to give you a little breakdown of the park, Fun Spot has 3 locations, one in Orlando, one, is it Kissimmee or Kissimmee?
Kissimmee.
Kissimmee, whatever you call it. And there's one in Fayetteville, Georgia, near Atlanta. And of course, we went to the Orlando location. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
The Orlando Park is located near the entrance of Universal Studios and the famous iDrive. Its main attractions are 4 different go-kart tracks, the world's 2nd tallest sky coaster, second only to the park's Kissimmee location, a Vekoma suspended family coaster named Freedom Flyer, and a GCI wooden roller coaster, Orlando's only wooden roller coaster, named White Lightning.
We'll share our thoughts about these rides a little later, but first, let's take a little deep dive into the history of Fun Spot.
So, the first park to be opened by Fun Spot opened in 1979 under the name Fun and Wheels, and was also located near iDrive in the former Wet n Wild water park. The park was founded and operated by a man named John Ari Sr., who still runs the parks today as a family-owned business.
The original 3-acre park had an arcade, 3 go-kart tracks, a miniature golf course, bumper cars, bumper boats, a 55-foot Ferris wheel. Eventually, John Ari Sr. sold the park in 1988, although he continued to operate it until 1991.
But then, in 1997, the year I was born,
Wow.
which I think that has to be fate right there.
Yeah.
Fun Spot returned to Orlando and was built near the same location as the original Fun and Wheels. The Orlando Park opened on December 24th, 1997, and introduced a patented design of multi-level go-kart tracks that became the signature of the Fun Spot brand. The park also included a 102-foot tall Ferris wheel and a 2-story arcade, as well as other attractions. This new park opened under the name Fun Spot Action Park.
From there, the park continued to grow, purchasing the Sky Coaster in 2004, and then in 2013 expanded once again to build 3 new roller coasters, as well as changing the name to Fun Spot America.
So anyway, there's a quick look into the history of the theme park. So now, let's get into some of the attractions that we can see today. So first of all, when you walk into this park, it kind of feels like a blast to the past. We've become so used to seeing parks like Universal and Disney where they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on theming and the attractions there. Or even parks like Cedar Fair and Six Flags and SeaWorld where you have these massive roller coasters. But Fun Spot, at least for me, seems to kind of tap into a different emotion. It taps into the emotion of nostalgia for a classic American theme park.
Even if it doesn't really make sense with us feeling this nostalgic about this park, considering that we didn't really grow up with those kind of parks, it does kind of hit hard.
When you walk into the park, you'll see a simple midway. Really? I hate you. I hate you. I hate
the next day.
As you walk into the park, it's got a simple midway leading into the carousel and some of the other flat rides that you can see, as well as a small view of the lake and the sky coaster up above.
And mostly, the front and middle of the park are dedicated to the flat rides, while the back focuses more on the speed, if you know what I mean.
The go-karts.
Yes.
So, just to go over a few of these flat rides, we'll just kind of name them off one by one. Near the front of the park, and you'll see it as you walk into the park, they have Liberty Swings, which is basically just a tall swings ride.
They got a little mini drop tower that bounces you up and down a couple times.
I think it's called Firecracker or something like
Firecracker.
that. They've got the classic Scrambler. You know you gotta have a Scrambler.
They got Rip Curl. It's a Himalaya-style flat ride. It's really fun, especially, spoilers, it starts going backward.
They've got their carousel, which is actually a double-decker carousel. You know, you gotta have one at parks like this.
They got Head Rush, which, for those who don't know, this model is called a MIDI Dance Party 360. And I'll tell you, these things are insane. Like, I know they're small, but like...
You'll be seeing stars, potentially, when you're done.
Yes, it definitely is a head rush.
Yeah. Then, of course, they have a classic Tilt-A-Whirl, which is fun. They have the Hot Seat, which is a screaming swing style ride. That one was really fun.
Yes.
It's really simulated falling, which you know we like.
We love falling.
And of course, they have the Ferris wheel, iconic to the park. They have bumper cars over in the back. They have a fun house, which was a blast. Some of the things are kind of falling apart inside.
Yeah, it wasn't working 100% when we went in.
But that added to the intrigue of it. I'm going to be completely honest.
It was a mystery.
You never knew what element was going to work and what wasn't, which
Yes.
made it even more exciting. Lit up at night, it's beautiful too.
In a tacky way. It's like...
It's a work of beauty.
It is a work of beauty,
It's
and I love
beautiful.
how tacky it is. It's a charming tacky.
They've also got their bumper boats.
That was our first time doing bumper boats,
Which
and
I had a great time doing bumper boats.
and my S tier flat ride. It's really fun.
Is it that flat ride?
I guess it's a flat ride, water ride.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
fun.
They had a mushroom too.
Yeah, which Zoe got soaked under, which was fun.
Yes.
We fished her. And of course, they have their Enterprise, which unfortunately was out of commission when we were there, but
I love Enterprise.
I love Enterprise. They're really fun. Just
Yeah.
not being harnessed into the ride makes it so much more fun to ride.
Yes.
And of course, they also have a little kiddie area that has mini versions of all these rides. They have a little mini drop tower, a little mini swing set, teacups, all of that good stuff.
Yes. Now we're not huge flat ride enthusiasts, if you may say, but at this park, the flat rides, they just hit different.
Some of it goes back to that feeling of the nostalgia that we were talking about. It kind of takes you back to a classic American theme park. When we went, at least, it wasn't crowded at all,
No.
so you could walk on to every single one of these
Every
rides.
ride was a walk-on.
And all of the employees were great. We had
Yes.
great conversations with all of them when we were in line.
What was funny is that like one ride operator would operate like 2 to 3 rides, and so you would just be standing in line, and then the operator.
He's like, "Oh, you're over there. I got you."
I
And
got
he'd
you.
go over.
He
and
would
get
like
you.
run over, and then he would start the ride, and then like go run over to another ride because there's.
Well, he would wait until you're
He
done.
would wait
with the
until you're
one
done.
bit.
But yeah,
yeah.
they were all just like running back and forth between all the rides, and I just thought that was kind of funny.
From there, we go on to the back of the park, which had all of the go-kart tracks, and they have 4 different tracks at this park. And it's kind of lumped in with the ticket that you buy to the park, so you go in and you'll have basically unlimited go-karting. The 4 tracks, we can go into the nitty-gritty differences of them all, but one has a really long helix. One is a little more similar to a street racing course. One is known as the sprint track, which is completely flat. And then one of them is another kind of multi-level street track.
My favorite personally was the one with
The blue one.
The blue one with the giant helix, just because there was this big hill you can go down the end.
Yeah, it was fun because there was really only one place on that one where you could pass people. So it was always a race up the hill, and then everyone would just go crazy around the corner.
No, people were going crazy on those go-karts.
There were some kids.
There were some kids spinning each other out.
And of course, go-karting is super fun, unless on those occasions you get a really slow car.
Yeah.
I got a really slow car on this one, and I started in the back, so I had no chance. Because sometimes if you have a slow car and you're in the front, it's kind of fun to try to hold people off around the turns. But if you're in a slow car in the back, there's nothing you can do. And of course, how could we forget the coasters here? Now, first they have their little kiddie coaster, which is similar to everything else you've always seen. It's just a little oval, you go around it twice. It's called the Sea Serpent. It was manufactured, for those of you who care, by E&F Miller Industries.
They have Freedom Flyer, which is a family suspended Vekoma coaster. It's a fun little one.
It's a fun little one. It's not super fast.
It's kind of an improved version of the Flying Ace aerial chase models that like all the Cedar Fair parks. It's like a fixed version of that because you have lap bars instead of those horrible over-the-shoulder restraints that are meant for tiny children.
So that's the biggest fun of it. You're free to fly.
Wow!
Now, my only question for this ride is, what is the story of Freedom Flyer? I need some Freedom Flyer lore out
Who
here.
is he?
Who is he? He seems like a splendid gentleman.
Yes, I would like to have dinner.
A handshake with him. I don't want dinner. I just want to shake his hand.
I
would be too intimidated to go to dinner with him.
I want to take him to.
Olive Garden?
He seems more like an Applebee's kind of guy.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last coaster they have here is White Lightning, which, can I just say, ooh, it's great.
It is a GCI wooden roller coaster. It's meant to like portray just that classic out and back Woody. It's super fun. It's like a little mini Mystic Timbers.
Yeah, it's Mystic Timbers
But
condensed.
smaller.
Small.
Yes, it's super fun though.
And coincidentally, White Lightning, we got to ride with
lightning.
Or at least Mia did. I was taking the video, but as she went over the bank at the end of it, I was able to get this cool video of her with some lightning in the background. And as we mentioned before, it is the only wooden roller coaster in Orlando, which that gives it points by itself. And of course, we have not mentioned the Sky Coaster yet. It is 250 feet tall, I think. It is the second tallest in the world, second only to the one in Kissimmee, the other Fun Spot location, which is, I think, 300 feet.
That's what you gonna yell on the way down?
And then, if all of these rides weren't enough, would you believe me if I told you that it was also part zoo?
It's just like Busch Gardens.
It's just like Busch Gardens. Fun Spot has this little area tucked away in a corner called Gator Spot, where you can go in and you can see, I would say hundreds at least. There are at least
There are a lot
100
of
gators in there. Like, mostly little baby gators, but they also have a big one. Which again, it was kind of this weird little experience in the back. It kind of seemed a little out of place, but that made it even more.
Yes.
And we didn't get to do this, but they also have events back there where you can feed them and
Yeah.
stuff like that. There are all of our thoughts on Fun Spot Orlando. Overall, it is a fantastic park. If you're in Orlando, it is definitely worth the visit.
It is. Both times I went, no lines. So it's a very enjoyable day where you can just marathon all your favorite rides. And it's just like a very friendly and fun environment. And
Safe, clean, fun.
Safe, clean fun.
That's their catchphrase.
It is. If you're driving there from anywhere from the north, you'll see a lot of billboards that it's just clean, safe fun.
Yeah, because I think that's part of the way they get a lot of their business. They know a lot of people will be coming down to Orlando for Disney, for Universal, for SeaWorld. So they kind of latch onto them in this kind of symbiotic relationship where they
Yeah.
kind of take away some of their customers for a day. And overall, I think, despite not having the huge rides that you see at these other parks or the huge amounts of theming, it has its place in Orlando, and it is I would say, Orlando's hidden gem of a theme park. So anyway, thank you all for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't done so already. We would really appreciate that.
Unlike our old camera.
Unlike our old camera, I hate that. I hate him. If you like videos like these where we kind of talk about a lesser known theme park and break down some of the rides they have, let us know in the comments if we should do more like these. And also what parks you would recommend that we do. And always remember, safe, clean fun, everyone.
Yay!